If a man desires true success, the kind that endures through the shifting seasons of life, he must first understand this principle. He cannot build greatness upon a weak foundation. That foundation is himself, his mind, his body, and his spirit. A man who neglects these will inevitably watch his ambitions crumble under the weight of exhaustion, poor health, and mental confusion. The tragedy is that most men reverse the natural order. They pursue wealth while sacrificing health. They chase recognition while abandoning peace. They grind themselves down in the name of achievement, believing they will rest once they make it, only to find that when they arrive, their bodies are broken, their minds weary, and their souls empty. I tell you, success gained at the expense of your well-being is not success, it is delayed defeat. The man who truly prospers is the man who understands that his most valuable asset is himself. All money, opportunity, and influence flow from his capacity to think clearly, act decisively, and endure consistently. Without those, the world's riches slip through his fingers. You see, a sharp mind requires a strong body to carry it. A calm spirit requires a disciplined mind to protect it. And a successful life requires all three working together in harmony. This is why I say, put your well-being first, not as an afterthought, but as the central pillar upon which all else rests. You cannot expect to win in the outer world if you are defeated in the inner world. You cannot expect to inspire others if you walk around fatigued, irritable, and reactive. The energy you bring to every encounter is either building your influence or eroding it. If you will pause for a moment and take inventory of your life, you will likely see patterns. When you have been well-rested, well-fed, and mentally at peace, you have made better decisions. You have been more patient, more strategic, more persuasive. And when you have been tired, hungry, or stressed, you have acted impulsively, spoken harshly, or neglected important matters. The man who learns from this truth decides never again to leave his well-being to chance. He creates habits that protect it. He defends his energy the way a king defends his throne. Many will misunderstand this, thinking it is selfish. But putting your well-being first is not selfish. It is the most responsible thing you can do for yourself, your family, your business, and your mission. Because when you are at your best, you bring your best to every situation. If a man is drowning, he cannot save another. If his own strength is gone, his ability to serve is gone with it. This is why your health, your clarity of mind, and your inner peace must never be optional luxuries. They must be daily priorities. Understand this. Your well-being is not simply the absence of illness or stress. It is a state of high energy, deep focus, and emotional stability that allows you to operate at your highest capacity. It is the sharpened sword, the loaded arsenal, the fortified castle from which you meet life's battles. If you wish to build this kind of strength, you must be deliberate. The average man spends more time planning a weekend trip than he does planning his own health and mental state. This is why his results are average. But the man who intends to rise above mediocrity treats his well-being as a strategic project. He begins with his body, because the body is the vehicle through which all work is done. Without physical energy, even the greatest ideas remain unexecuted. He understands that discipline in exercise is not vanity. It is preparation for the demands of leadership. Strength breeds endurance. Endurance breeds consistency. And consistency breeds results. He fuels his body with the same care a skilled craftsman gives his tools. He does not poison himself with what dulls his performance. He chooses food, drink, and habits that increase his capacity to think, move, and act. But he also understands that the mind is the command center. A healthy body can carry a confused mind only so far. If his thinking is scattered, if his focus is weak, he will waste time, money, and energy chasing distractions. To protect his mind, he disciplines what enters it. He limits the noise of gossip, idle talk, and negative voices. He feeds it with ideas, strategies, and knowledge that serve his purpose. He surrounds himself with people who challenge him to think at a higher level, because he knows the quality of his thoughts determines the quality of his life. Then he guards his spirit, the invisible core from which his courage, integrity, and vision flow. This means living in alignment with his values, keeping his word, and avoiding the slow poison of resentment or envy. A man with a healthy spirit does not need to prove himself through endless competition. He knows his worth and acts from it. When you live this way, something remarkable happens. Success stops feeling like a desperate chase. It begins to feel like a natural outcome. Your mind is clearer, so you see opportunities others miss. Your body is stronger, so you outlast those who fade early. Your spirit is steady, so you remain calm in storms that cause others to panic. And here is a truth most overlook. Wealth itself responds to this state of being. Money flows to those who are dependable, decisive, and resourceful. These qualities come more easily to the man who is physically healthy, mentally sharp, and emotionally balanced. When your well-being is your foundation, you no longer have to push for every result. You begin to pull opportunities toward you because of the man you have become. People trust you more. They want to work with you. They want to be led by you. Contrast this with the man who neglects himself in pursuit of success. He wakes tired, drags through his day, loses patience with those around him, and makes hasty decisions to relieve the pressure he feels. Over time, his reputation suffers, his energy dwindles, his results decline. Eventually, he finds himself starting over, older, weaker, and with fewer resources because he built on a crumbling foundation. You must decide which man you will be. Putting your well-being first requires courage, because it often means saying no to things that seem urgent but are in truth unimportant. It may mean working fewer hours so you can train your body, read, or rest, actions that will make you far more effective when you do work. It may mean walking away from deals, environments, or people who drain you, no matter how promising they appear. It also requires discipline, because results are not immediate. You will not become strong, clear-minded, and emotionally unshakable overnight. You will have to build it through small, daily choices. And those choices will often be inconvenient. But understand this: every choice you make is a vote for the man you will become. Each workout strengthens not just your muscles, but your identity as a disciplined man. Each healthy meal reinforces your commitment to your future self. Each moment spent in reflection sharpens your vision. In time, the accumulation of these votes transforms you. You will look back and realize that the man you are was shaped not by luck, but by the relentless prioritization of your well-being. When that day comes, you will understand why I say that success follows well-being as surely as day follows night. You will see that by building yourself first, you have built the capacity to create and hold every achievement you desire. And you will never again make the mistake of trading your greatest asset, yourself, for anything the world offers. When a man decides to put his well-being first, he is declaring independence from the tyranny of urgency. He is no longer tossed around by every demand, every distraction, and every so-called emergency that others place upon him. He has recognized that his energy, his focus, and his peace of mind are too valuable to be squandered. You must understand, the world will always present you with more requests than you have the capacity to fulfill. If you do not have a system for protecting your time and your health, you will be pulled in 100 directions until you are exhausted and resentful. But the man who prioritizes his well-being operates differently. He chooses deliberately. He understands that by saying yes to one thing, he's saying no to another. And he is unwilling to say no to his own health, his own clarity, and his own future. This requires a level of self-respect that many men never develop. They trade their well-being for approval, thinking that constant availability proves their worth. They sacrifice their rest to impress others with how much they can endure. But approval is a poor substitute for strength, and applause will not heal a weary mind or a broken body. A man who truly understands his mission knows that he cannot be all things to all people, and he does not try. Instead, he focuses on becoming excellent in the areas that matter most to his purpose. He gives his best to the work that advances his vision and refuses to dilute his energy on what does not. When you adopt this mindset, you begin to notice how much of life's chaos is self-inflicted. The skipped workouts, the late nights, the rushed meals, the constant scrolling and distraction, these are not accidents, they are habits. And just as bad habits can weaken you, good habits can fortify you. You must therefore replace the habits that drain you with those that build you. Start by creating non-negotiables, actions that you commit to daily, regardless of circumstances. This might include a set bedtime, a morning exercise routine, time for reading, or periods of silence for reflection. These are not luxuries, they are your armor. They protect you from the demands and unpredictabilities of the day. And here is a truth you will discover. When you protect your well-being, you make better use of the time you have. Many men boast of working 12-hour days, but accomplish little because they work in a constant state of fatigue and distraction. A man who is rested, nourished, and focused can accomplish in 6 hours what another does in 12. Efficiency is not about working more, it is about working better. This is why I say, taking care of yourself is not stealing time from your ambitions, it is accelerating them. When you are at your peak, you produce more, you influence more, and you inspire more. But putting your well-being first is not only about performance, it is about preservation. You are building a life, not just a career. You must be strong enough, healthy enough, and present enough to enjoy the rewards you are working for. What good is wealth if you are too sick to use it? What good is influence if you are too tired to enjoy your family? There is a temptation to believe that you can neglect yourself temporarily, that you can push hard for a season and then recover later. But the body does not work that way. The damage from neglect accumulates quietly. The stress you ignore today will show itself in sickness tomorrow. The fatigue you dismiss will grow into burnout that takes months, even years, to reverse. The wise man, therefore, chooses consistency over extreme. He does not abuse his body and then try to repair it with a short burst of discipline. He builds routines that sustain him day after day, year after year. This is also true for the mind. A man who lets his mind be overrun with negativity, fear, and anxiety cannot expect to think clearly when it matters most. You cannot plant weeds all year and expect a harvest of wheat. Your daily mental diet matters. Every conversation you engage in, every book you read, every video you watch, every thought you dwell on is either strengthening or weakening your mental state. To put your well-being first means being ruthless about what you allow into your mind. It means limiting your exposure to gossip, arguments, and petty conflicts. It means deliberately seeking out ideas that challenge you to grow, people who inspire you, and environments that lift your spirit. And do not neglect your spirit. The strongest body and the sharpest mind are wasted if the spirit is broken. Your spirit is your will to persist, your belief in your purpose, and your ability to stand firm when tested. The man whose spirit is weak will give up at the first sign of resistance. The man whose spirit is strong will continue even when the odds seem impossible. How do you strengthen the spirit? You do it by keeping your word to yourself, by facing challenges instead of avoiding them, and by living in alignment with your values. Every time you act with integrity, even when it costs you, your spirit grows stronger. Every time you confront fear and move forward anyway, your spirit hardens into unshakable confidence. Now, here is the great paradox. When you put your well-being first, your life actually becomes simpler, not because the world changes, but because you change. You are no longer pulled into every fight, every drama, every distraction. You are no longer making decisions from exhaustion or desperation. You begin to move with intention, and others feel it. People will notice your calm. They will notice your clarity. They will notice your energy, and they will begin to respect your boundaries because they sense that you respect yourself. Do not underestimate the power of this. In business, people prefer to work with those who seem in control of themselves. In relationships, people gravitate toward those who bring stability and strength. Opportunities come more easily to the man who projects health, confidence, and focus, not because the world is fair, but because the world rewards those who can deliver results consistently. Putting your well-being first also forces you to master one of the most valuable skills a man can possess, the ability to say no. Every time you say no to a demand that would deplete you, you are saying yes to something that will build you. This is not laziness. It is strategy. The general who sends his troops into every battle loses the war. The general who chooses his battles wisely wins. And so it is with your energy. Choose where you spend it. Spend it on the work that moves you toward your goals, on the people who lift you higher, on the practices that make you stronger. Many men will resist this advice because they fear being seen as selfish. But think of it this way. A man who collapses from exhaustion cannot provide for his family. A man who is irritable from constant stress cannot lead his team effectively. A man whose mind is clouded cannot make sound decisions. Which is more selfish, to protect your well-being so you can give your best, or to neglect it until you become a burden to those around you? The truth is, you owe it to those who depend on you to be at your strongest. And you owe it to yourself to live a life that is not consumed by constant struggle and fatigue. If you take nothing else from my words, take this. The man who puts his well-being first is not avoiding work. He is ensuring he can do his work at the highest level for the longest time. He is playing the long game. While others burn out, he remains steady. While others quit, he endures. While others are rebuilding from collapse, he is compounding his gains. In time, this difference becomes impossible to ignore. The man who has cared for himself will seem almost untouchable. His energy will outlast others. His mind will remain sharp when others falter. His confidence will grow while others doubt. And all of this will lead to the very thing so many chase, success. But in his case, success will not come at the cost of health, peace, or happiness. It will come because of them. That is the reward of putting your well-being first. Not only do you achieve more, but you enjoy what you have achieved. You do not look back with regret, wondering what price you paid for your victories. You look back knowing you built both your life and yourself at the same time, and both are strong enough to endure. There is a common misconception that success demands the sacrifice of all personal comfort, health, and peace of mind. Men boast about sleepless nights, about skipping meals, about being too busy to rest, as if exhaustion were proof of dedication. They wear their fatigue like a badge of honor. But in reality, it is not honor they are displaying, it is poor strategy. A wise man understands that if he is to climb to the heights of achievement, he must arrive there with strength still in his body, clarity still in his mind, and peace still in his heart. He knows that there is no victory in reaching the top if he collapses the moment he gets there. Putting your well-being first is not an act of indulgence. It is an act of discipline. It means you are willing to make the hard choice now so that you can make the great choice later. It means you guard your body as the vessel of your ambition, your mind as the architect of your vision, and your spirit as the fuel of your persistence. Consider this. If you own a powerful machine that can create extraordinary results, do you run it recklessly without maintenance, or do you service it regularly so it lasts for years? Your body, your mind, and your spirit are that machine. To treat them carelessly is to sabotage your own potential. And so you must build a system for your well-being. Systems succeed where willpower fails. Willpower is fleeting. It fluctuates with mood, with circumstances, with energy levels. But a system is stable. It carries you forward even on days when you feel no motivation. Your system for well-being must include 3 pillars: physical strength, mental clarity, and emotional resilience. Each is essential, and neglecting any one of them will weaken the whole. The first pillar, physical strength, is not merely about appearance. It is about capacity. The man with a strong body can work longer, recover faster, and endure stress more effectively. Physical strength begins with movement. You must train your body daily, not for vanity, but for vitality. Strength training, stretching, and conditioning are investments in your ability to act when opportunities arise. It also requires nourishment. You cannot fuel a high-performance life with low-quality inputs. The food you eat is either contributing to your strength or robbing you of it. The same is true of sleep. Sleep is not wasted time. It is the process by which your body repairs, your mind consolidates learning, and your spirit renews its drive. The second pillar, mental clarity, is the foundation of all strategic action. The man whose mind is clouded with distraction cannot lead himself, much less others. Clarity comes from focus, and focus requires boundaries. It requires you to decide what truly matters and to eliminate what does not. This means creating space for deep thinking. Most men react all day to the demands of others and wonder why they never feel in control. But clarity is born in stillness, in the moments you step away from noise to ask, where am I going? What am I building? What matters most right now? Without such reflection, you drift, and drifting men rarely arrive at greatness. The third pillar, emotional resilience, is what allows you to persist when others crumble. Success is never a straight path. It is full of challenges, delays, and disappointments. The man who is easily discouraged will quit long before he reaches the summit. But the man who has trained his emotions will remain steady through storms. Emotional resilience comes from perspective. You must train yourself to see obstacles not as punishments, but as preparation. You must interpret setbacks as lessons, not as verdicts. You must believe that every difficulty is forging you into someone capable of greater victories. And here is where your well-being connects directly to your success. When these 3 pillars are strong, you become a man others can depend on. In business, people invest in reliability. In leadership, people follow consistency. In relationships, people trust stability. You cannot be any of these things if you are constantly exhausted, reactive, and overwhelmed. Many will not understand your decision to put your well-being first. They will accuse you of being too rigid with your routines, too selective with your time, too protective of your energy. But those same voices will be the first to admire your results. They will wonder how you achieve so much without appearing frantic, how you stay composed when others panic, how you keep going when others are worn down. The answer is simple. You refuse to run on empty. You understand that the man who burns out is of no use to himself or anyone else. You understand that the man who preserves his strength preserves his capacity to win again and again. This mindset also reshapes how you pursue your goals. You stop chasing every opportunity and start choosing the ones that align with your vision. You stop agreeing to every request and start protecting the time needed for your priorities. You stop trying to impress everyone and start building a life that impresses you. You will also notice a shift in how people treat you. When you value your own well-being, you set the standard for how others will value it. People respect boundaries they cannot cross. They sense when a man's time and energy are not to be wasted. This is not arrogance, it is self-respect. And self-respect attracts respect from others. Putting your well-being first also allows you to sustain high performance over the long term. Short bursts of extreme effort can create temporary results, but only sustainable effort creates lasting success. You cannot run at full speed forever. You must create a pace you can maintain, and that pace begins with protecting your capacity. Do not misunderstand me. There will be seasons when you must push beyond your usual limits. There will be times when the demands of opportunity require extraordinary effort. But such seasons must be the exception, not the default. The man who lives in constant overdrive will inevitably break down. The man who alternates between strategic sprints and intentional recovery will continue advancing for years. This is the difference between a shooting star and a sunrise. A shooting star burns bright for a moment and disappears. A sunrise grows steadily until it fills the sky. Which will you be? If you wish to build wealth, influence, and impact that last, you must think like the sunrise. You must rise steadily, shining brighter with each passing day, fueled not by frantic energy, but by consistent, disciplined care for yourself. And this, my friend, is the true secret. When you put your well-being first, you do not merely increase your capacity, you expand your potential. A healthy mind sees opportunities where a tired mind sees problems. A strong body moves quickly where a weak body hesitates. A resilient spirit steps forward where a broken spirit retreats. It is this combination, capacity, vision, and courage, that creates extraordinary success. And it is built not by chance, but by deliberate daily choices. The choice to rest when you could push recklessly. The choice to eat well when convenience tempts you. The choice to turn off noise and focus on what matters. The choice to step back and think before you act. Every day you will face these choices. They may seem small, but together they form the architecture of your future. A house is built brick by brick, and your life is built choice by choice. If you want it to stand strong, you must choose each brick carefully. Remember, success is not a single event. It is the compounded result of thousands of days lived with intention. And the man who protects his well-being ensures that those days are lived at the highest quality possible. Others may think they can win by working longer, shouting louder, and rushing faster. Let them. You will win by thinking clearer, moving smarter, and lasting longer. They will exhaust themselves trying to keep up with their own pace. You will quietly advance, conserving energy, sharpening your skills and preparing for the moments that matter most. And when those moments come, you will be ready. You will not be scrambling to catch your breath or trying to recover your strength. You will be at your peak because you have trained for it. You have lived for it. You have preserved yourself for it. This is the reward of putting your well-being first. Not just the ability to succeed, but the ability to keep succeeding year after year without sacrificing the joy of living. If you have followed me this far, you now understand that putting your well-being first is not selfish, it is essential. It is not about stepping away from ambition. It is about stepping into it fully prepared, fully equipped, and fully able to handle the demands it will place upon you. But knowing this truth is not enough. Many men know what they ought to do, yet fail to do it. Knowledge without application is no better than ignorance. The real work lies in turning this understanding into habit, and habit into identity. Your identity is the sum of the actions you repeat. If you repeat chaos, you will live in chaos. If you repeat neglect, you will deteriorate. But if you repeat care, discipline, and intentionality, you will become the embodiment of strength, clarity, and resilience. The key is consistency. Well-being is not something you attend to once in a while. It is something you attend to every day. You do not eat one healthy meal and call yourself nourished. You do not sleep well for one night and claim to be rested for the year. The process is daily, and the daily process is where greatness is forged. This is why I urge you to create rituals. A ritual is a promise you make to yourself, a structured action that happens at the same time, in the same way, every day, without negotiation. Rituals anchor you. They eliminate the need to decide whether you will act. The action is automatic. Begin with your mornings. How you start your day determines how you carry it. Too many begin in a rush, reacting to messages, rushing out the door, already behind before they have even begun. You must claim your mornings as a time to strengthen yourself before the world makes its demands. Wake early enough to be alone with your thoughts. Move your body to wake your strength. Feed yourself with nourishment that fuels rather than drains. Guard your mind by consuming information that sharpens rather than scatters your focus. And most importantly, decide in that first hour who you will be that day. Will you be reactive or proactive? Will you drift or will you drive? Then there is your evening ritual. The day is won or lost in how you close it. Use your evenings to release the tension of the day, to reflect on what went well and what can be improved, and to prepare for tomorrow. Protect your sleep as fiercely as you protect your time, for both are the foundation of your capacity. Within these bookends, morning and evening, structure the rest of your day with purpose. Block time for focused work, for deliberate rest, for physical activity, and for the relationships that matter most. If you do not schedule these, the world will schedule them for you, and the world will not prioritize your well-being. Understand this. If you do not set your boundaries, you will always live within someone else's. And if you live within someone else's boundaries, you will always be fulfilling their vision instead of your own. This is why you must become ruthless with what you allow into your life. Every activity, every person, every commitment must be measured by this question. Does this support my well-being and my mission? If it does not, it must be limited or eliminated. Some will call this cold. They will call it selfish. But it is only selfish to those who want to use your energy for their purposes. You are not here to be drained. You're here to create, to build, to contribute from a position of strength. This discipline will give you another advantage, clarity in decision-making. When you protect your well-being, You see more clearly what opportunities are worth your effort and which are merely distractions dressed as possibilities. You will stop chasing what is urgent and start building what is important. And here lies one of the greatest secrets of sustained success. The man who guards his well-being will outlast everyone else. Most will burn bright for a short season, then fade. They will grind until they have nothing left to give, and when opportunity knocks again, they will not have the energy to answer. You, however, will still be standing. You will still have strength in your body, focus in your mind, and fire in your spirit. You will still have the discipline to act when others are retreating. And because of this, you will be the one chosen for the opportunities that require endurance, reliability, and composure. Do not be fooled into thinking this is easy. Protecting your well-being requires courage. The courage to say no when others expect yes. The courage to step back when others are rushing forward. The courage to put long-term stability over short-term gratification. It will require you to confront the part of yourself that believes you are only valuable when you are exhausted, overworked, and constantly available. You must destroy that belief. You are not valuable because you are drained. You are valuable because you are capable. And capability is sustained only by care. Think of the greatest structures ever built, the pyramids, the cathedrals, the enduring monuments of civilization. They were not built in a rush. They were built stone by stone, with attention to detail, with time for the foundations to set, with an understanding that the structure must endure storms for centuries. Your life is such a structure. If you build it too quickly on an unstable foundation, it will crumble at the first serious test. But if you build it carefully, maintaining the integrity of its supports, your body, your mind, your spirit, it will stand unshaken. Putting your well-being first also changes the way you measure success. You stop defining it purely by external accomplishments, income, possessions, titles, and begin to measure it by the quality of your days, the depth of your relationships, and the peace of your mind. You will discover that there is little joy in wealth if you are too sick to enjoy it. There is little satisfaction in achievement if you are too exhausted to appreciate it. There is little fulfillment in recognition if you feel hollow inside. But when you put your well-being first, you can have both achievement and enjoyment, both recognition and peace, both ambition and contentment. You do not have to choose between success and health. You can have both if you are willing to protect both. And perhaps most importantly, you will find that your well-being becomes a source of influence. People will be drawn to your steadiness. They will notice that you are not frantic, that you do not break under pressure, that you carry yourself with calm strength. They will come to you for guidance, for partnership, for leadership, because you have mastered yourself. This is the great paradox. When you stop sacrificing your well-being to chase success, success begins to chase you. Opportunities come to those who are ready for them, and readiness is the result of preparation. So I say to you, as clearly as I can, protect your strength. Guard your mind. Nurture your spirit. Do not let the noise of the world convince you that these are luxuries. They are necessities. Without them, you will win battles and lose the war. With them, you will win again and again. From this moment forward, let every choice you make pass through this filter. Does this serve the man I am becoming? If it does, move forward with certainty. If it does not, walk away without regret. Do this, and you will not only succeed, you will thrive. You will build a life that is rich not only in what you achieve, but in how you live each day along the way. For in the end, the greatest victory is not to arrive at the summit gasping for air. It is to stand there strong, clear, and ready for the next climb. And that, my friend, is what happens when you put your well-being first.